You always dismiss the signs. You always delay. Archangel Michael is not just disappointed, he's furious. A sudden turn is coming. You have 2 minutes to change its direction. There is a time when heaven's silence turns into a thunderous cry, when mercy stands trembling on the edge of justice. And this is that moment. You, beloved child, have felt it. You've heard the warnings. You've seen the patterns. You've sensed the still small voice speaking gently, persistently, lovingly, until now. Until the voice must roar. Until the sword must rise. You always dismiss the signs. You always delay. And though you cloak it in reason, in fear, in timing, not all delays are innocent. Not all hesitation is holy. You've paused in places where you were commanded to walk. You've lingered in moments that required your immediate obedience. And now, the weight of every delay has stacked itself in the heavens like clouds ready to burst. This message is not for the lukewarm. It is not for those numb in spirit or proud in their delay. This message is a divine interruption. The clock from eternity is ticking. And you have been given not days, not hours, but 2 minutes in the Spirit. That is not a metaphor. It is not symbolic poetry. It is mercy's final stretch before judgment begins to speak. 2 spiritual minutes. 2 prophetic minutes. And within those minutes, a decision must be made, not by your lips, but by your soul. For Archangel Michael does not enter casually. He stands where the battle lines are drawn. And when he moves with such fury, it is not out of disdain, but out of war. A war for your destiny. A war for what you are allowing to slip through your fingers. His fury is divine. It is the echo of heaven's desperation to wake you from the chains of inaction before they harden into consequences. He is not merely disappointed. He is furious because what's at stake is not just your moment. It is your mantle. It is your generational shift. It is your God-ordained position in the alignment of end-time purpose. And if you do not respond, the shift will still come, but without your place secured. Heaven's will shall be done, but your part in it may pass to another. Hear this clearly. Not everyone is hearing this message because not everyone is ready. But you are. That's why you're here. You've been dismissed by many, even dismiss your own discernment. But heaven hasn't dismissed you. Not yet. These final 2 minutes are grace wearing a warrior's face. And now comes the divine condition. Be silent. Obey. Jews. In the stillness, your soul must decide, forward or fallback, obedience or excuse. The direction has not yet finalized, but it is turning. And your next action is what tips the scale. Type "I am chosen" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 666 is now surrounding you. The sword has been drawn. The time has been set. The heavens have entered the courtroom and the verdict has not yet fallen, but the gavel is in the hand of God, trembling not with doubt, but with divine justice waiting for a final yes. Archangel Michael stands now, not in peace, but in posture of war. His wings blaze with fire, his armor clinks with the sound of millennia-old battles, and his sword gleams with the fury of heaven's righteous anger. He has not been summoned lightly. For when he appears, it is because the timeline has been breached, the obedience delayed, the assignment endangered. And now, he stands before you. Yes, you. Not your neighbor. Not your friend. You. In the next 2 minutes, something irreversible can be decided in the spirit. A sudden turn is coming. Not weeks from now. Not months from now. But now. Imminent, divine, and severe. These 2 minutes are not on your wristwatch, but inside your spirit. Can you feel it? The heat rising. The atmosphere changing. That is not anxiety. That is the weight of angelic presence brushing against your delay. Heaven is not asking you to guess anymore. Heaven is not nudging you quietly anymore. Heaven is roaring. And it has chosen this moment to break through every layer of hesitation, every shroud of doubt, every blanket of fear that you have hidden under. No more delay. No more excuse. No more playing small. And yet even now, your heart trembles. It's not just fear, it's conviction. The kind that shakes the soul and causes you to remember every moment God called and you said, "Not yet." You said, "I'm not ready." You said, "Just a little longer." But the problem is, while you waited, hell didn't. While you paused, your enemy planned. While you delayed, assignments were rerouted, doors were shut, and angels waited at gates you never walked through. But grace glorious, furious races beating again. Archangel Michael did not come for your destruction. He came as a divine interrupter. To sever the cords of complacency. To silence the background noise. To call your soul into alignment before your name is scratched from this phase of the plan and handed to another who will say yes without stalling. There is tension in the heavens. There is silence on standby. There are angelic messengers watching your response even now. Not your words, your spirit shift. This is not a call to emotion. This is a call to alignment. A sudden turn is in motion. But whether it turns in your favor depends on what you do right now. This is not a general word. This is not a gentle encouragement. This is a divine emergency. This message found you because heaven tracked your delay. It followed the trail of aborted assignments and prayers you never finished. And still mercy has spoken once more. Still, the heavens are open for 2 more minutes. Archangel Michael's presence is not a threat. It's a rescue. A rescue from patterns. A rescue from comfort zones. A rescue from spiritual slumber. He has come, not to destroy your destiny, but to defend it, from you. From your delays. From your detours. From your dismissal of signs that have been echoing in your life for years. This is a call to war, not against people, not against enemies, but against your own passivity. And in these final 2 minutes, your obedience has the power to reroute the storm. Yes, a storm is already forming, but heaven has not yet released it. A decision can change the direction, but it must come from you. Now, still your spirit. Silence the noise. Let your heart cry, "Why, yes." Because if you do, Michael's sword will shift direction. But with boys de cut will govern. What was lifted in judgment will now defend. This is your window. This is your warning. And this is your weapon, obedience. Type "I am anointed" in the comments if this word pierced your spirit. Blessing code 1122 is now activated. Shall I proceed to section Roman 3, mystery and emotional disruption, and include the first support message immediately after? Absolutely. Now continuing with, there is a strange heaviness that's been lingering in your atmosphere. A weight you haven't been able to shake. A restlessness at night, even when the room is silent. You've been asking yourself, what is this feeling? It's not depression. It's not anxiety. It's something deeper. Something louder. Something divine. Your soul has been responding to something your mind has not yet understood, a prophetic disruption in the spirit realm. Because you missed the signs. You delayed. And while you were occupied with distractions, heaven was whispering louder and louder, until the whisper became a spiritual quake. That quake is what you've been feeling, an unsettling deep in your belly, a discomfort in the midst of ordinary things. You know something is shifting, and you can't ignore it anymore. Because the signs are no longer subtle. They are screaming through closed doors, blinking through denied dreams, surfacing through relationships that suddenly turn cold and strange. This is the season where God is revealing the cost of delay. The moments you second-guessed yourself, the divine appointments you canceled out of fear, the promptings you ignored, thinking you had more time. You didn't. And in that hesitation, something sacred began to slip through your fingers. And now, let's speak to what no one else sees. You felt watched. You heard the gossip. You sensed the whispers behind your back. You thought it was paranoia, but it wasn't. It was discernment. Because when you were hesitating, they were moving. There are those who have been monitoring your movements in the spirit. Waiting. Playing. Hoping you would pause just long enough for them to overtake you. Not just physically, spiritually. Because your delay gives them access. Not authority, but access. They saw your hesitation, but they haven't seen the strength heaven is about to release. And now you're being pressed from every side. Why? Because the divine realm is demanding a response. There is no more neutral ground. The signs you ignored are now forming into storms, not because God is punishing you, but because He is preparing to rescue you. The mystery is this: your disruption is not destruction. It's an alarm. It's the shaking before the breakout. It's the pressure before the portal. This is why nothing feels safe anymore. This is why you're unsettled even when everything looks fine. Because your spirit is picking up signals that your mind doesn't have language for yet. You keep asking, why now? Why so sudden? And the heavens respond, because the delay has gone too far. You thought you were buying time, but you were losing placement. You thought you were being cautious, but you were slipping out of alignment. And the emotional weight you've been carrying. It's not depression. It's not fatigue. It's the grief of your spirit, mourning every moment you hesitated while the gates of divine opportunity creaked open and then closed again. But even now, the gate is cracked. Even now, the sound of Michael's footsteps echoes in your atmosphere. Even now, the Spirit of the Lord is stirring the winds around you, not to destroy you, but to deliver you from your own delay. You don't need to understand everything to move. You don't need every answer to obey. All you need is a yes. And if you give it, if you truly surrender now, the destruction will shift into deliverance. The watchers will be blinded. The whispers will be silenced. The signs will no longer feel confusing, but confirming. And every delayed blessing will chase you down with divine acceleration. You're not losing your mind. You're waking up. You're not falling apart. You're breaking free. You're not being punished. You're being positioned. And Michael's fury is proof that heaven refuses to let your destiny be hijacked by hesitation. Type "I am rising" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 777 is falling upon your house. And beloved, if this word has struck the depths of your spirit, This is your moment to sow into the shift. When you give, you are not supporting a platform. You are activating a harvest. This message carries fire because it is forged in obedience, and your support fans that flame to reach others who are moments away from destiny. Your oil flows where the altar is honored. Your seed, your gift, your sacrifice, it becomes a light for someone else who is stumbling through delay. Heaven is calling givers in this hour, those who feel the urgency and want to be a part of the breakthrough, not just receive it. I heard the Lord say, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you won't have room to contain. That is not poetry. That is prophecy. And if you feel stirred to respond, do it boldly. I never ask for support lightly. But when I do, it is because someone's soul is on the line. Will you help us reach them? You can support through YouTube Super Thanks, membership, or PayPal link in video description. Don't delay. Don't dismiss this sign. Your giving is not charity. It is prophetic obedience. Support now. Be the one God uses. Be the light in someone's last moment. This isn't just about you being tired. This isn't just life being hard. This is spiritual warfare, and it's been wrapped in the disguise of daily delays. The warfare didn't begin when things went wrong. It began the moment you were marked with purpose. The enemy has always known you were dangerous. He knew what you carried. He saw the light forming in you before you ever realized the weight of your assignment. That's why the war began in the form of hesitation. He didn't need to destroy you. He only needed to distract you, to slow you down long enough for the doors to close, for the momentum to dry up, for your courage to wither under pressure. And you fell for it, not because you were weak, but because you were unaware. You thought silence meant peace, but it was the enemy's lullaby. You thought delay meant wisdom, but it became the noose around your opportunity. You weren't being careful. You were being targeted. You must understand this truth. Hesitation is a weapon in the hands of darkness. The longer you wait, the more room you give to demonic strategy. Every maybe later becomes a foothold. Every ignored sign becomes a crack in your spiritual armor. Every dismissed prompting gives hell another inch of access. And while you were waiting for confirmation, your adversary was confirming his plan to take what was meant to be yours. But heaven has drawn a line, and Archangel Michael has crossed that line, not against you, but for you. His fury is not rejection. It is a roaring defense of your divine inheritance. You may feel the heat of judgment in his voice, but it is not condemnation. It is the fire of mercy pushing you out of delay and back into alignment. For too long, you've interpreted spiritual agitation as guilt or shame, when in reality, it was Michael banging on the gates of your soul, trying to shake you awake. You see, this battle isn't about whether you are worthy. You've already been deemed worthy by the blood of the Lamb. This battle is about whether you will walk in that worth, whether you will step into your ordained place or surrender it to someone else because you chose safety over obedience. Heaven is not watching from a distance, it is leaning in. There are watchers in the throne room taking account of your movements. Not to punish you, but to record the pivot point. Every hesitation is logged. Every obedience is logged. The scales are being weighed in real time. And your response is shifting the outcome, not because God is unsure, but because He entrusted you with the authority to decide. There are generational chains you were meant to break. There are doors no one else in your bloodline could open but you. And that's why the delay has become so heavy. Because it's not just about you, It's about everything tied to your yes. And heaven is no longer patient with your excuses. This is war. And Archangel Michael is not neutral. He wars on behalf of God's chosen ones. He wars on behalf of mantles that are slitting. He wars for destinies that are drifting. And when you delay, his sword burns, not to strike you down, but to sever the cords that are dragging you away from your throne. Your calling is under attack because of its magnitude. Your obedience is being fought because of its impact. Your identity is being twisted by the enemy because if you ever remembered who you really are, hell would tremble. So now, the Lord says, choose quickly. The battle is not cooling, it is intensifying. But victory does not depend on your strength. It depends on your obedience. Say yes and watch what Michael does on your behalf. Say yes and watch doors reopen, mantles fall, favor flood. But say nothing and you will feel the sudden silence of heaven repositioning what was yours. You are being weighed right now. Not in worth, but in response. And it is not too late, unless you make it so. Type "I will not delay" in the comments if you receive this word. Blessing code 505 is now encircling your life. The sudden turn has already begun. This is not something that might happen. This is not a warning of a far-off shift. The motion is already underway in the spirit realm. Things are moving. Clocks are spinning. Portals are lining. Judgments are forming. The wind has already changed direction, and the path ahead is no longer optional. It is ordained. But whether you move with it or be broken by it will be decided in these next moments. You thought you had time. You thought you could revisit the prompting later. Say yes when it felt safer. Obey when your schedule allowed it. But you didn't realize what was being activated behind the veil. A spiritual transaction. A shift in atmosphere. A divine rerouting. The moment you ignored the instruction, something began to tilt in the unseen. Heaven doesn't wait forever. It moves on the rhythm of obedience. And the longer your silence lingers, the louder the consequences grow. Within 48 hours, something will unfold. Yes, 48 hours from the moment this word enters your spirit, there will be a confrontation. A death. A shaking. A crossroads. Some will experience it as blessing. Others will feel it as loss. For some, it will feel like divine momentum. For others, it will feel like doors slamming shut. Not because God is cruel, but because He will not allow you to trample over divine timing with human excuses any longer. The clock of mercy has limits, and you are standing at the edge of it. There is someone plotting even now. They've been watching your hesitation. They've been waiting for you to stay stuck. Their strategy depends on your silence. Because your voice holds power. Your movement shatters assignments. Your obedience disarms demonic schemes. That's why they've been lurking in the shadows, whispering lies, pulling on your insecurities, because if they can get you to freeze, they can take what was never theirs to touch. But hear me, they are not the biggest threat. You are. Yes, the most dangerous weapon against your destiny is your own delay. The enemy knows it. Heaven knows it. And now, you must face it. If you continue to stall, the consequences will not be delayed just because your obedience was. Hidden consequences are forming, relationships that will fracture, opportunities that will vanish, open heavens that will begin to seal. And you won't even realize it until it's too late. This is not fear. This is mercy dressed as urgency. The Holy Spirit is pressing into your soul because the enemy has sent deception into your atmosphere. You've been thinking, maybe it's not that serious. But it is. You've been tempted to say, I'll act when I have peace. But peace doesn't come before obedience, it follows it. You've been waiting for a sign, and this is your sign. Not a gentle breeze, not a quiet nudge, but a storm siren from heaven. And Michael is not standing with folded arms. He is standing with his sword mid-air, waiting command. He has been assigned to either defend your promise or clear the way for another to take your position. Do not mistake heaven's silence for passivity. Divine movements are happening whether you choose to join them or not. Your decision won't stop the shift. It will only determine how it impacts you. Now is the time to move with trembling reverence. Now is the time to silence every outside voice and listen to the groaning in your spirit. That groaning is your destiny trying to breathe again. That pressure is not punishment, it's gravitation. If you respond now, heaven will pivot. But if you delay again, you will feel the weight of what should have been. A sudden turn is not coming. It's already here. And whether it becomes your downfall or your deliverance will be known in the next 48 hours. Not just with what you say, but with what you do. What you surrender. What you obey. This is the final lap before manifestation. But it requires your full submission. Heaven is still holding space, but not for long. Type I choose to obey in the comments if this word is shaking your spirit. Blessing code 4848 is now being released over your next 48 hours. Be still. Yes, be still. Not passive. Not paralyzed. But position. For what's happening in this hour cannot be fought with the flesh. What's being warred for it in the spirit cannot be won with arguments, strategies, or striving. It must be won through alignment. And the first order from heaven to the one who has delayed is not to run. It is to be still and let heaven fight while you align. The fury of Archangel Michael was not sent to destroy you. It was sent to awaken you. You've been scattered, distracted, divided within yourself, pulled in too many directions by the voices of people, the weight of expectations, and the lies that tell you that resting is weakness. But I say this by the Spirit of the Lord, stillness is not the absence of movement, it is the presence of surrender. Stillness is the battlefield where the enemy loses his grip. It is where pride dies and obedience rises. It is where heaven begins to move because you have stopped trying to save yourself. You keep fighting battles you were never meant to fight, carrying burdens you were never designed to carry. And every time you move without instruction, you forfeit the angelic backing that was assigned to you. You're exhausted not because you're lazy, but because you've been doing too much in your own strength. And heaven is saying, stop. Retreat into obedience. Let the fire fall where it may, but don't let it fall on you. Now is the time to withdraw from the noise. Shut the gaze. Lock the doors. Turn off the opinions. Drown out the distractions. Heaven needs your full attention, not your divided loyalty. You cannot hear the next instruction until you silence the last interruption. This is not a season for excessive talking. This is a season for strategic listening. You are covered, even in delay. The mercy of God has not lifted from your life. The protection of heaven has not abandoned you. You may feel exposed, but you are still under divine surveillance. You may feel vulnerable, but the angels have not withdrawn. They are circling, watching, waiting. Because the moment you step back into alignment, everything begins to shift in your favor. But you cannot obey fully while distracted. You cannot rise while surrounded by the noise of chaos and compromise. You must shut it all down. Go into prayer. Go into fasting. Return to the altar, not with empty rituals, but with a desperate heart. Let your stillness speak louder than your words. Let your silence become the sword that pierces through confusion. Because God is speaking again, but not through thunder. He is speaking through instruction. This is the moment where you recalibrate. This is the place where you pause not because you're defeated, but because you are about to rise with a clarity so fierce, even your enemies won't recognize you. The fog of confusion is lifting. The distractions that once held you captive are being silenced. But you must remain still long enough for the alignment to finish. Stillness is not delay. Stillness is strategy. The most powerful movements of heaven often begin in silence. Do not underestimate what's happening simply because it feels quiet. Stillness is where God refines your ears to hear Him again. Stillness is where Michael sharpens his sword, not against you now, but for you. Stillness is where your fear becomes fire, where your hesitation becomes hunger, where your weakness becomes weaponized for glory. You are not losing your momentum. You are regaining your direction. You are not forgotten. You are being recalibrated. The roar of Michael has cleared the battlefield. Now heaven waits for your realignment. 1 hour in prayer can unlock what 5 years of effort never could. 1 moment of surrendered silence can shift the battle entirely. Be still, and let heaven fight while you align. Type "I am aligning" in the comments if this word found you in your stillness. Blessing code 733 is now encamping around your house. You are not who they thought you were. You are not the fragile, indecisive soul your past tried to paint you as. You are not the abandoned child of delay. You are not the weak vessel the enemy assumed would crack under pressure. You are not the one who always misses the moment. No, that season is over. That identity is broken. That reputation is buried. The chains that held you in hesitation are snapping, one by one. The fog of uncertainty is lifting. The spirit of delay has lost its grip. Because something fierce, something holy, something unstoppable has awakened within you. This is the shift. This is the turn. The moment you thought would never come has arrived, not because the world changed it, but because you did. The stillness you embraced was not a pause, it was a reset. Heaven used that quiet place to ignite something inside of you that cannot be silenced anymore. Your mind is clear. Your resolve is sharp. Your discernment is on fire. And your obedience is no longer optional. It is a weapon. You are not moving forward timidly. You are rising with fire in your bones. The mantle that was almost lost is now being wrapped around your shoulders. The crown that nearly slipped is being fastened again, firmer this time. Because now you know. Now you understand. Now you see what's at stake when you delay. You no longer play with time. You no longer treat assignments casually. You no longer let excuses speak louder than destiny. Hesitation is no longer your identity. You are no longer the one who waits, you are the one who moves. And when you move, the earth will shake. When you speak, the air will shift. When you obey, doors will swing open. not because of your name, but because of your alignment with the name above all names. This is the part the enemy feared. Not your weakness, but your awakening. Not your mistakes, but your momentum. He saw what would happen when you finally said yes without flinching. When you finally silenced every other voice. When you finally chose obedience, even when it cost you. And now, he trembles. Because Michael is no longer standing against your disobedience. He's fighting for your destiny. You have become the storm the enemy feared you'd never become. You are the one who learned how to rise in silence. You are the one who gained strength in stillness. You are the one who found fire in surrender. Let the world look again. Let your past look again. Let your doubters look again. Because the version of you that was always delaying is gone. What stands in this moment is a warrior forged in delay, refined by disappointment, and now empowered by obedience. Feel the wings unfolding. You are no longer crawling in uncertainty. You are soaring in clarity. Every moment you thought was wasted has now become fuel. Every tear has become oil. Every not yet has become a now. The time you lost is being redeemed. The strength you lacked is being multiplied. And the voice that was once trembling is now roaring. You are not too late. You are right on time, for a different timeline. A holy acceleration is now resting upon you. What would have taken 10 years will now take 1. What felt impossible is now inevitable. What was blocked is now open. Because you have shifted. You have chosen. And heaven has responded with fire, favor, and force. Michael's sword is no longer hovering in judgment. It is swinging in your defense. Let them try. Let them speak. Let them plot. They will not succeed. Because you are no longer standing on uncertain ground. You are rooted in divine timing, bathed in holy boldness, and covered by heavenly warfare. The hesitation has ended. The rise has begun. Type "I have risen" in the comments if you feel this fire igniting in your bones. Blessing code 1001 is now empowering your obedience. Now hear this. The fury of heaven was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to activate you. The reason the warnings grew louder, the dreams more intense, the pressure more unbearable, was because heaven waited longer than it should have. The heavens tarried for your obedience while others moved. The angels held back the floodgates, not because you were ready, but because you were chosen. You were selected for something others were skipped over for, not because you were stronger, but because you were marked. That is why Archangel Michael burned with such holy rage. It wasn't disappointment in your humanity. It was desperation for your surrender. You were carrying a piece of divine strategy. You were the carrier of a command that could only be fulfilled through your yes. Heaven needed your feet in position, your mouth anointed, your hands ready. But every delay you made caused angels to halt, missions to reroute, and timelines to groan under the weight of hesitation. And yet you are still here. Because you were never abandoned, you were being confronted. And now, because you've broken agreement with delay, the scroll is unrolling again. The assignment is returning to your hands. The sword that once hovered in warning is now covering in power. The fury has given way to favor. The fire that once scorched in correction now burns to protect. Heaven has whispered your name again in its chambers. They have said, "The one who delayed has returned." And now your obedience is unlocking what was hidden. This is the unveiling. The revealing of what had been sealed behind your former silence. The assignments, the promotions, the answers to prayers, They were never denied. They were waiting. Waiting for this moment. Waiting for this version of you. Waiting for the bold one. Waiting for the surrendered one. Waiting for the fire-tested, still standing, no more delay version of you. And now, the heavens have moved. You are entering the next level. Not a level you begged for. Not a level you forced. But a level that waited for your submission. This is elevation by obedience. Not because you earned it, but because you finally aligned with it. And the blessings that are coming now are not random. They are strategic. They are tied to your voice print, your fingerprint, your bloodline, your tears, your tests, your turnaround. You hear the sound. It is the gates of heaven creaking open again. You feel the wind. It is the breath of God pushing you forward into the places your former self was too afraid to enter. You sense the shift? It is not just a feeling. It is fulfillment. Divine transactions are occurring as we speak. What you forfeited in hesitation is being restored through your obedience. Yes, God waited long, but now God is moving fast. Your name is known in the halls of heaven. Your voice is familiar at the throne. Your prayers have not been empty, they were seeds. And though it tarried, the harvest is now rushing to meet you. And it will come not in trickles, but in waves. Not in guesses, but in confirmations. Not in maybes, but in manifestations. You must understand, your delay was never wasted. It became your proving ground. Your delay became your wilderness. And now that you've emerged, every step you take is hallowed ground. Michael no longer stands as judge, he walks as your warrior. You were delayed, but you were never denied. You hesitated, but heaven never canceled you. And now you're standing in the aftermath of mercy. In the aftermath of fury turned into favor. In the aftermath of silence that has now become a trumpet of breakthrough. This is the unlocking. This is the revelation. This is your return. Type "the wait is over" in the comments if you feel this revelation stirring in your spirit. Blessing code 8888 has now been assigned to your obedience. When heaven speaks, the soil of the soul is stirred. If this word has touched you, if it's broken something loose inside of you, don't just listen. Respond. Your support helps take these prophetic messages to the ends of the earth, into the hearts of those still locked in delay, still chained by hesitation. Your giving is not about us, it's about them. Every dollar sown is a seed of deliverance. Every gift is a key in the hands of someone who needs to be awakened. This ministry runs not on applause, but on assignment. And when you give, you're not supporting content, you're fueling calling. As it is written, give, and it shall be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. That word is alive now, and it's speaking to givers in this moment. Not tomorrow. Now, if you've been stirred by this word, don't delay. Support this mission through YouTube Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description. Give as the Spirit leads. Give with boldness. Give with purpose. This is your moment to partner with prophetic power. Step into the overflow. Sow into fire. Move with heaven. Now, the atmosphere is set. The fire has been kindled. The sword has been redirected. The delay has been judged and broken. The next move belongs to you. The heavens have done their part. The angelic realm is standing by. The voice of the Lord has thundered. The signs have been made undeniable. And now, all that remains is the activation of your destiny. Not by wish, not by thought, not by contemplation, but by decision. Speak it. Declare it. Move with it. You must understand that heaven responds to sound. Your words matter. Your declarations are not passive. They are legal documents in the spirit realm. When you speak from alignment, you sign the scroll with your obedience. When you release the decree from your spirit, angels are deployed to make it manifest. And this is why the enemy has tried to silence you, because he knows that a voice in alignment becomes a weapon of mass deliverance. Now, release the sound. Don't wait for another confirmation. Don't wait for another dream. Don't wait for the fear to go away. Fear doesn't leave first. Faith moves first. And as you move, the atmosphere obeys. As you step forward, the terrain shifts. As you speak, the heavens respond with movement. This is the moment where your yes becomes your access pass, your entry point, your unlocking. No more waiting to feel ready. No more rehearsing excuses. No more spiritual procrastination dressed in false humility. You are not just called, you are being commissioned right now. Heaven is waiting for your activation. Declare this with your voice and with your life. I will no longer delay. I am stepping in. I'm aligned. I'm chosen. I'm moving. Let that sound rise from within. Let it shake the residue of former fear. Let it break the contracts of hesitation. Let it tear through every familiar spirit that has tried to tether you to cycles of almost. You must understand, destiny doesn't respond to thoughts. It responds to action. Divine alignment is not about emotion. It's about execution. The instruction has been given. The angel has been assigned. The doors are trembling on their hinges. But they will not swing open until your obedience makes the move. Heaven is watching, not for perfection, but for movement. So move. Take the step. Make the call. Write the vision. Cut the tie. Start the fast. End the conversation that's draining your oil. Step into the territory that was promised, but delayed because you wouldn't occupy it. This is not about performance. It's about posture. A posture of urgency. A posture of trust. A posture that says, I will not miss another moment. Because this isn't just a season of blessing. This is a season of birthing. Destiny is not handed, it is labored for. And you are in labor now. The contractions of obedience are squeezing out what has been inside you all along. And what was hidden in silence is now being pushed into manifestation through activation. The realm of hesitation has closed. The dimension of deceit has opened. You are not entering a new chapter. You're entering a new book. One written not just in prophecy, but in response. This is the shift the enemy feared. Not that you would hear it, but that you would do it. That you would act. That you would walk like the awe was real. That you would move as if the sword was drawn. That you would rise as if heaven was backing every step. You are not stepping alone. You are stepping with the fire of Michael at your side, the cloud of witnesses watching, and the full force of heaven behind your obedience. And if you act now, if you move now, if you align now, everything begins to activate. Your destiny is not waiting. It is demanding. Respond. Type I am activated in the comments if you are taking the step. Blessing code 3000 is now authorizing your movement. There are transactions happening in the unseen even now. Divine exchanges beyond your natural sight. Spiritual negotiations not carried out in words, but in willingness. In the silence of your surrender, heaven is moving. In the hush of your obedience, something ancient is being reversed. Something sacred is being restored. You don't need to shout. You don't need to strive. You just need to yield. Because while you thought your delay disqualified you, God was collecting every moment you stayed, every tear you cried, every whisper of repentance that never made it to your lips, but exploded in your heart. The Spirit wants you to know. Your silence did not go unnoticed. Your quiet pain, your hidden regret, your secret desire to obey even though your fear held you still, it was recorded. Not to condemn you, but to redeem the time. Heaven does not only move on noise, it moves on knowing. And God knew that your delay was not rebellion. It was hesitation rooted in unhealed trauma, unmet expectations, and unanswered questions. But now, in your stillness, the scales are tipping. In the spirit realm, angels are making exchanges on your behalf. For every moment stolen by delay, there is a deposit of acceleration. For every opportunity missed through silence, there is a counter seed being sown into your future. For every time your yes came too late, there is now a multiplying grace to catch up to what was lost. Listen closely. It's happening as you breathe. There are divine replacements being made. Lost strength is being exchanged for fresh oil. Broken confidence is being traded for new boldness. Dreams once buried are being uncovered, brushed off, and returned to your hands. Heaven did not throw away what you delayed. It preserved it, stored it, guarded it. And now, because of your surrender, the angels are releasing it. There is a holy silence in the spirit realm, a reverent quiet, as heaven witnesses your return to alignment. Your slow turning of the heart has caused a loud shift in the courts of glory. The Father is not scolding. He is rejoicing. He is wrapping you in garments of purpose again. He is whispering to the angels, give them back what they laid down. It's time. And what you're receiving now, you don't even have language for it. Some of you will begin to dream again, but the dreams will feel sharper, more urgent. Some of you will begin to receive strategy, but this time with supernatural clarity. Some of you will feel weight on your words, the spiritual gravitas that wasn't there before. Because you didn't just return, you exchanged. Your delay was not wasted. Your doubt was not disqualifying. Every second you spend wrestling in the dark has become currency. Heaven is now restoring what hesitation tried to steal. But more than that, it's returning it with interest. What was lost is being returned sevenfold. What was delayed is being wrapped in speed. What was broken is being rebuilt with heavenly hands. And you don't have to explain yourself. You don't need to announce this. You don't need to justify why you waited. The spirit realm already knows. God already knows. And now, all of heaven is watching what you'll do next with what's being returned. The silent exchange has been made. The records have been updated. The angels have left the courts and are now surrounding your dwelling. Some of them carry scrolls. Some of them carry swords. Some of them carry restoration. But all of them have been sent because of the yes you finally released. Don't minimize what's happening just because it feels quiet. The most powerful shifts often arrive in silence. And right now, you are surrounded. You are covered. You are chosen. The exchange is complete. And now walk in it. Type "I receive" what was returned in the comments if you feel this exchange. Blessing code 4114 is now reactivating divine deposits in your life. Justice has been set in motion. What was allowed to torment you for so long, what was permitted to mock your delay, what lingered in the background waiting for you to fail, heaven has issued its verdict. The hand of God has moved to reverse the imbalance. The judgment hath been released. The weight has shifted. And now, the delay that once cursed your momentum has become the trigger for divine reversal. You see, the courtroom of heaven does not operate like the systems of men. It does not condemn those who fall, it restores those who rise. It does not cancel the chosen, it recalibrates them. And now that your yes has been planted in the soil of surrender, justice is moving like a mighty river. Every act done against you in secret is now being measured. Every whisper spoken while you hesitated is now being accounted for. Every eye that watched you stumble and mocked your slowness, they are about to witness the fire of reversal. This is the part where heaven flips the script, where what was meant for your destruction becomes the platform for your elevation, where the very hands that tried to bury you now tremble at your resurrection, where the voices that said, "They are too late," are silenced by the thunder of divine vindication. What they plotted against you returns to them sevenfold. This is not about revenge. This is not carnal retribution. This is righteous justice, the kind that reorders the spiritual realm in your favor. Because you obeyed. Because you turned. Because you answered the call, even after delay, heaven is rewarding you openly. And those who thought your silence meant surrender will now see what happens when God finishes a thing in His timing. You will no longer be defined by what you missed. You will be marked by what was restored to you under the covering of heaven's judgment. God is balancing the scales. The time you lost is now working for you. The opportunities you missed are now returning in upgraded form. And the people who were used as tools of discouragement, yes, even they will be forced to watch as favor crowns you. Don't be surprised when the same places that once rejected you begin to call you back. Don't be surprised when positions you did apply for begin to open. Don't be surprised when those who overlooked you now offer what they once withheld. Because when God reverses a thing, He does not restore it to where it was, He multiplies it beyond recognition. This is that hour. The shift has come. And it will be seen, not just in your spirit, but in your life, in your household, in your provision, in your influence. You are walking in divine reversal. The tears you cried in silence have become thunder in the heavens. The prayers you whispered in despair have now become prophetic declarations. And what was once taken from you will be returned in strength, with interest, and with fire. Do not doubt what's unfolding. Even now, while you sit in stillness, while you move in quiet obedience, while you trust even though the vision still looks blurry, justice is working on your behalf. What your hands cannot reach, God is correcting. What your mind cannot fix, Michael is already confronting. The fury that once loomed over you has now turned to fire beneath your feet, propelling you forward, pushing you into a future you nearly forfeited, but didn't. Because you obeyed. Because you surrendered. Because you broke the cycle of delay. Now you will see what heaven does when alignment meets justice. You will watch as promotion replaces disappointment, acceleration replaces delay, and access replaces resistance. This is not hype. This is not imagination. This is divine order being restored. Stand in it. Walk in it. Declare it. You are not behind. You are ahead, because heaven just caught you up in one divine reversal. Type the justice of God's mind in the comments if you receive this reversal. Blessing code 7777 hath been written into the scroll of your destiny. Now breathe. Let every word that has pierced your spirit settle into the soil of your heart. Let the fire that has burned through your delay now become the fire that propels your feet. This is not the end of a message. It is the beginning of your movement. The shaking was necessary. The stillness was sacred. The confrontation was holy. But now, the blessing has been released. The delays no longer hold you. Let me say that again. The delays no longer hold you. The invisible cords that kept your feet frozen have been cut. The spiritual fog that clouded your discernment has lifted. The shame that whispered you're too late has been silenced by the thunder of heaven's voice crying out, now. This is the sound of your moment. This is the echo of your turnaround. This is the silence after the storm, and the wind at your back, pushing you into everything that was written about you before time began. Archangel Michael is no longer furious with your hesitation. He is now warring for your direction. His sword is no longer hovering in warning. It is clearing the path ahead. Where judgment once trembled, now mercy overflows. Where fire once roared, now protection surrounds. What was once a warning is now a covering. You are sealed in your purpose. You are seen by the courts of heaven. You are no longer on the edge of obedience. You are walking in it. And now, a final release from the mouth of the Lord. May boldness be your portion. May clarity be your companion. May divine timing wrap itself around every step you take. May the fire of God never leave your bones. May the scroll of your life no longer gather dust. May the gates of access open with no resistance. And may everything that was delayed now be delivered at double speed. The heavens have spoken. The angels have moved. The fury has passed. And your name is being sung again in the corridors of destiny. The rise has begun. Say it aloud now. Let the spirit and the earth hear it. My hesitation ends. My rise begins. Type I receive my rise in the comments if this final word has sealed something in you. Blessing code 9999 is now finishing what delay tried to destroy. You've just received a prophetic word sent by the courts of heaven to intercept delay and activate destiny. If this message ignited something in your soul, if it broke chains, restored vision, or stirred your fire, you have the chance to sow into what God is doing. This isn't a request. It's a divine invitation. Your giving isn't funding a video. It's fueling the fire for others who are still stuck, still silent, still searching for a word like the one you just received. The oil must continue to flow. And your support makes that possible. As God spoke in His word, bring all the tithe into the storehouse, and see if I will not open the windows of heaven. That window is open right now, and the seed you sow unlocks more than provision. It unlocks partnership with power. Support this mission through YouTube Super Thanks, membership, or by giving directly through PayPal link in the video description. Don't wait. Don't walk away unchained. Respond with your seed. You've just been reactivated. Now help activate someone else.